coming up in this episode of the KickCast, we combine air hockey and foosball together. A way to keep those pesky rugs in place, and we bring the movie theater home using a goofy head-mounted display. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast. I am Ktdata, and joining me is a man who is so dedicated to podcasting that he will stay up to the wee hours of the night doing research, and his wife will catch him, and he has to just look innocent and go, "It's for the show, I promise."
That's me.
Drew Tyler. How you doing, Drew?
I'm very good, and that is dedication.
That is
wee
dedication.
Hours of the night, I am surfing all sorts of podcasting things
And whatnots, and playing games to make sure they're so you have things.
That's
to
my
talk
research.
about.
Yep, playing video games. In fact, that's the whole reason why I joined a podcast, is so I have an excuse to play video games. And so far, my plan is working.
See, that's the irony of it. That's why I started Ktdata, because I needed an excuse to start watching anime again since I kind of fell off.
And it works.
That's why I have Ktdata going on there.
Now I have a public that expects me to do things and be places.
Yeah, that's why you tell your wife that. And I just think I probably need to get her a bigger Christmas gift this year. I'm sorry I got him addicted on the podcasting bug.
maybe Jeff and Rachel do. They're the ones that pull me away weekly. You and I, we only go every other week. It's easy.
Yeah, and we do it remote. See, I try to make it as convenient for you to go talk to her as much as possible.
Perfect.
All right, so if you guys have never seen the KickCast before, first of all, welcome. And what Drew and I do is we scour the internet to find the latest, the greatest, the most unique projects on these crowdfunding sites, and we bring them to you, and we let you know if you need to backtrack or sack them.
Yes, we'll scour it up for you.
Yeah, and along the way, we've learned a lot of things, and so let's just jump into the news. And our first news item, this is kind of cool. Indiegogo has created something called the Indiegogo Playbook. And what that is it's kind of a tutorial that kind of walks you through the creation process of a project.
Yeah, it's like the yays and nays.
Yeah, it starts from your idea conception to actually making the project, to running the project, and to post. So after, what you got to do after your campaign. And there's a lot of sections in here if you actually look through it. And if you're thinking of making a crowdfunding project, even if it's not on Indiegogo,
right, I
highly suggest you read this. There's a lot of good tidbits. Like, one of the great tidbits I found is that this is to quote the guide, we found that people usually contribute to campaigns for 4 different reasons: people, passion, participation, and perks. The 4 Ps.
I like that. The 4 Ps.
Yeah. Other ideas like campaigns run by 2 or more team members raise 94% more money than campaigns run by single individuals.
I'm surprised by that.
But it kind of makes sense because one of the things that we always kind of tell people is make sure you advertise to your network. So when you have a couple people on your crowdfunding project, your network is a lot bigger and more diverse.
Double, triple. Yep, that's true. And you got a broader voice and very easily a stronger team that can cover more bases of fulfillment or execution of the project, whatever it is. So it makes sense.
Yeah. So if you guys are thinking of a project, make sure you guys go check that out on Indiegogo's website. It's probably like half an hour read, and it is well worth it. There's tons of information in there that you should check out. All right, let's go on to our next story, which is again about Indiegogo.
In the news with Indiegogo.
So we've talked about this a little bit. We've talked about equity crowdfunding and how that's something that's going to start becoming a thing soon because of different laws that have passed.
Right. And some that are still getting kind of ironed out. Like there's a question mark in a few of them, but yes.
Yeah. So we find out from this CNBC article that the Indiegogo founders are actually looking at doing equity crowdfunding when it passes. And one of the things that's actually holding it up is this law called the Jumpstart Our Business Startups, or the Jobs Act. And this act is actually supposed to help people. And there's a specific section on it. It's going to get a little legalese right there. There's this Title III section. And what happens is they made a change that would allow non-accredited investors. So pretty much people who do not make $200,000 a year or have a net worth less than $1 million. I know I definitely have a net worth of less than $1 million.
That would be me.
And I definitely make less than $200,000 a year, or
what?
Or we'd have a awesome studio to do all this in.
That's our next goal. We're getting there.
Yeah, it allows them to kind of invest into companies. So, Drew, it's been a while since I've asked this question. Would you do equity crowdfunding?
I think I would, but I also think I'm smarter than the average man.
Yeah, I think you've been exposed more to the startup scene. I mean, both of us know Randall Bennett. We know a lot of people who have started startup companies, so they you understand the risks a little bit better than other people, right?
Right, exactly. And I think that's what I worry about with this idea of equity funding, is that you're going to get a lot of people who are even new to crowdfunding as a whole, and when they see part you got to be a part of a company or buy equity in a company. Man, I just don't think enough people are going to go far enough with their due diligence to decide whether or not that's worth their money. And there's going to be a lot of hassle and headache for somebody that's buying equity. Maybe they can streamline it, maybe they can make it a little easier, but I guess I just really worry that the average Joe is going to be buying equity and not realize how many startups actually falter. That you really, like, there's a whole reason why they say diversify your portfolio, and why investors will fund 20 projects and hope that one of them hits, or more. That's my worry. Yeah. But it's bound to happen.
Yeah, the burn rate on startups is pretty high. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's higher than you think. You see the one or two that make it big, but there are literally hundreds that don't because of that.
And I think that would be the concern. If you look at even Kickstarter and Indiegogo in the last year or two, they're a small tier of projects who have funded to the level where it actually might make sense to own a piece of that pie. There's only, I can think of 2 or 3, and there's probably not many more that actually got to that point where if you did have equity and if you had enough of it, it would make a good ROI, a good return. But we'll see what they do.
Yeah. If it was me, I might do it, but you can guarantee that I'd spend at least 2 weeks just researching the backgrounds of all these guys, what other things they've done, if they've been successful or not, what's the likelihood of like the science and stuff behind a lot of this. I would do all this research before I would put a dime into kind of equity crowdfunding. So keep an eye out for that. Whenever the government decides to implement all these rule changes, people have been waiting for about 2 years now for them to change. So who knows when that's going to happen. But it might be coming to an Indiegogo near you. Ooh.
We'll see.
All right. So Drew, we might be a little biased about this, but are you sick of crowdfunding?
No, sir. No. I love it. Every week. I love it.
This is probably part of the backlash on there. So there's an article with the Wasteland 2 developers. So if that sounds familiar, they actually ran a Kickstarter campaign.
They did well, right?
Yeah, this is pretty much the successor to the old Fallout games that weren't Fallout 3 in New Vegas, because some people wanted more to the core of the original 2, and this is what Wasteland is trying to do. And somebody asked him, do you think people are sick of Kickstarter and crowdfunding projects? And so what he said was, he's like, I don't think people are sick of crowdfunding projects per se, but most of these projects are aiming at a super, super small niche of people. And what's happening is the need in those niches are slowly getting filled.
Right. Or he mentions that Kickstarter is kind of doing its job in filtering out projects that don't have a fan base to support it, or don't have. I mean, I could have a great idea that I think is wonderful, and if I don't find the bodies to say yes and vote with their checkbooks, then it wouldn't. It's not going to bear fruit. And so that's kind of what he's saying. It's like that's what Kickstarter is there for. You find the audience, and if it fails, it's because you didn't find the audience.
Yeah, I think it's great market research on there. I mean, because ideas are a dime a dozen. Now, ideas that are implemented well, that's another story on there. So, I think it's doing a good job. And people I don't know why. People are like, oh, if we launch a Kickstarter, we're going to just make X amount of dollars. And I'm just looking at you like, I don't know if I'd back a project from you if you're that confident, to be honest. It's because, like, sure, you're going to take risks and stuff, but you might take too many risks and just totally bone yourself in the end from that. So yeah, I'm not sick of crowdfunding projects. I love finding these projects and seeing people who are actually passionate about the ideas working together, and like the ones who have the plans put together are really, I'm confident. I mean, even like these niche kind of things. People wanted another sequel to the old Fallout games, and that's why they made another one he put was an Amplitude sequel. I actually backed that because I love music.
That a while ago?
No, that actually just ended like last week.
Oh,
Harmonix, the guys who make Rock Band and
Uh-huh,
Guitar
uh-huh.
Hero, a lot of people don't realize they're actually an indie company on there that just happened to make a deal with Activision, but
Okay.
they're a fully independent game company, and they made Amplitude before they made all those games, and they wanted to bring that back. So they brought it to the crowd, and the crowd's like, "Yeah, we want it."
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I never think about that. I mean, Harmonix, Activision put in a lot of money for their E3 showings, and I always had like the backstage come in and try the latest Rock Band, and so this is interesting to realize. In fact, I don't know any much about Amplitude.
Amplitude's awesome. You kind of play a ship, and you kind of do the Guitar Hero Rock Band stuff on there.
Oh, you're a boat?
You're a spaceship.
Oh, spaceship.
And you got to move it across the street. It was insanely hard. It was on the PS2.
Oh, I'm looking at pictures now. It's ringing some bells. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, but they raised a ton of money. But that was because, one, they're Harmonix, and two, the original game was so loved by people that they're like, yeah, I'll chip in money on there. And they got and I backed a lot of money into that, like $200 because I wanted a vinyl. I have issues on there. So, yeah, I wouldn't say we're sick of crowdfunding projects at all.
No, maybe your collector's editions, maybe.
Yeah. But if you guys are sick of crowdfunding projects, please write in or let us know why you're sick of crowdfunding projects, because I'd be so curious what to know why you are.
Because it takes an hour half hour of their lives every 2 weeks to listen to you and I yap about them. That's why.
Yeah, but they should always listen.
They should always listen.
All right, Drew, let's jump into.
We got some projects today. We got 3 wild projects.
Yeah. We got some pretty fun projects. All right, so our first one right here. So, are you a foosball player?
I have played. Let's say that I have played.
So you're probably like me and terrible at it, right?
I don't. I like playing with somebody who I know is like not really skilled, but when I get into it, like if I ever play somebody that knows what they're doing and they play foosball,
and they're like doing these spins
yeah.
and stuff, and you're like,
and I'm just swinging. It's like, oh, just keep going down the hill. So I'm not. I can't say that I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, this is why I stick to games that use buttons and glowing LEDs on like TriCaster control panels.
Perfect.
Those are real. But so Footblast is kind of like a foosball table, but it takes it to the next level. So just like your normal, so it doesn't have as many people on the field as a foosball table would. But what happens is there's 2 ways of actually hitting the ball across the field. You can hit it like normal on a foosball table by turning the little air compressor thing, or at the end of all these knobby things, there's kind of like a tube, and you can press down on your air compressor thing, and it'll shoot air out of the player, and you can move the ball. And the ball's like a ping pong ball, so it's super light.
Yeah, it's like every player on the field is riding an air cannon.
Yeah,
like they're standing on an air cannon.
And so I love this kind of idea, how it's taking it to a brand new level, right? And you can have up to 4 people playing, which is kind of cool on there. And it measures, let's see, 45 inches by 30 inches by 10 inches plus another 25 inches for the feet, so 35 inches tall-ish.
Oh.
So it's a fairly sized table on there, and they put some really good figures on top. That's why I'm like, whoa. I'm wondering if you could use like some of these, like the goalie, because he's kind of reaching out as a like second arm to block things, or. But it looks really fun on there. And so there's only one drawback for me, is because looking at the price, it's $299 Canadian space dollars, which equals about $275 in the US and some change on there. So that's about the price of a foosball table out there.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them from like $200 to like $500, and there's probably even higher ones for like nicer foosball tables.
Right.
On there. So that's not bad. The thing that killed me though is the shipping is about 150 Canadian dollars, which is like $130.
Yeah,
on top
just
of
to
that.
get it.
Yeah, but I get it, because you're shipping a table essentially everywhere, and tables are not that easily moved and light on there. So I don't know. What do you think about this thing?
I don't know. I kind of like the novelty of it. I think it's fun to say, hey, let's play foosball instead of swinging people around. Let's put little air puffers under them, and you still swing them in a different axis, and you can blow the ball. So novelty is fun. I think that there's something for me that's just missing. Like when I honestly read this and watched the video, I got this feeling of like a like a biathlon. How in the hell did they get cross-country skiing mixed up with rifle shooting, right? So I got that same feeling. Was like, where was this when somebody was like, hey, air hockey's fun, foosball's fun. Let's find a way to put them both on the table. And this is like what they, combined to come up with. So I guess I have a lot of reservations. I don't love foosball enough to get behind this. And I just felt like, I don't know, I felt like the cannons weren't, like, it wasn't almost like strategic enough that I could feel, and again, maybe I just have to play it once, but I just felt like with these little air poppers that they had to kind of squish things, there was just too many like question marks for me that I didn't feel like I'd have the control. I mean, foosball, what control do you have anyway? It's just swinging, and I felt like this was the same. So unless there was something that was like I could suck that ball into my cannon and then pivot and then aim, that made a little bit more sense. But if you think about it, foosball, that ball is constantly going to be moving. The only time in a real foosball game that you get to aim something is when he bumps up against your leg and you wait for it and then you swing at the right moment or right trajectory, if you can even get your guy's leg off halfway. I felt like this was missing that, because now you're spinning in like clockwork circles, and just you can't be any more specific than what you're just puffing air out. So if there was a way to like suck the ball in, hold on to it, and then pivot, aim, there might be a little bit more strategy for like passing the ball back and forth or something. But I don't know. For me, this was I don't know, too many question marks. And while it's a great idea and I think it's a fun and brilliant invention, not something that I would back. Therefore, I'm actually going to call this one a sack.
Oh, for me, it's a track, because the only thing that's actually, I just realized another thing is, so the only two things that are detracting me is, one, I have to bend over to get this because this is a pretty short table for a person like me. I'm a 6 foot. I'm a 6 foot person, so like
put it on another table. Just put a table on a table.
Table on a table on a table. And
for a minute, I thought you were gonna say you had to bend over to get it shipped to you.
Yeah. And then well, the second part is it's a little pricey for me. So yeah. I would say track on there. Like if you have the room and the space to have one of these things, be cool.
Right. Could be fun.
Maybe we can make a trip to Canada to go try one of these.
See, I would love to try it. Yes. The other thing I question is that when you're almost possibly a few days into a project, there should be, like we talk about all the time, have some traction before you hit go. And there's still zero backers and zero pledged, and it's only a $7,000 Canadian $7,000 goal. And so I feel like they should. I'm sure they put skin in the game because they've got this working prototype. But I feel like there should be some sort of incentive there that just says, "Yes, we have backers. Yes, we have money in the pot." But maybe that's coming. I don't know. Maybe they've got a long 60 days or 53 days.
Yeah, I think if they had a cheaper shipping rate, so if they were shipping from the U.S., it might be actually a little bit lower. Because I'm confused why they show a picture of their patent, which is a U.S. patent, but they're from Canada. So I'm like, what? On there. So that is the Footblast. And while we're on the topic of kind of feet in general, you probably have a couple of rugs around the house, right, Drew?
I have lots of rugs in every bathroom, kitchen, under the table. Yes, I have lots.
And how often do you ever find them like all bunched up and whatnot? Or
every day.
The one thing I hate is the one near my garage door that I open up. Every single day it is bunched up, and I have to pull it and straighten it out before I can even open the door. It's going to get caught.
Oh, see, I hate that. Like when it gets in the way of the door working properly. We have a bathroom door that does that. Yes.
So tell people a little bit about Slipguard and how that might be a solution for this.
So you have your options when you're trying to do something with a bath mat or any sort of a carpet on your floors. You have a solution, and those solutions out there are the non-stick pads that you can buy, little non-abrasive rubber sticks that you can apply somehow to the back of the carpet. I don't know how many times we've done this. We have a nice little fish-shaped carpet in the kids' bathroom, and we ended up moving it downstairs because it would not stay on the ground because of this. Even when we trace out a shape of a fish in the non-slip, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a little spider webby looking stuff.
Yeah, those like white things that don't work.
Yeah, exactly. So this one's awesome. This one is called a Slipguard. This gentleman has come up with a fantastic idea for his project, non-slip rug grip in a freaking can, right? In a can. So he has gone through, and he's a floor salesman. He knows floors. He went through and put this same rubbery type of adhesive. It's not even adhesive, but like it's a protector of sorts. Plus, it's a non-slipper. You flip your carpet over and you spray it down. Ta-da! And then he goes through it. The video was, relatively dry because, we're video guys, but there was the number of places where he showed this thing sticking and examples and all the different things that he showed were pretty amazing. So there was a lot of like, wow moments when he was showing this thing off. So he's gone a long ways. He's already got, as far as I could tell, he's already got like people, ready to produce and create and sell this even. I guess I kind of question why it was a Kickstarter, because it looked like his project, the idea was fully formed and ready to go from what I could tell. But there you go. It's a spray can that puts that sticky coating on the back of the carpet. So nothing between the two, the carpet and the stick, never sticks or never slips. And you throw that, on your rug right outside your garage door or in my bathroom, and it's going to stay down on the floor. His video examples were amazing to show that off.
Yeah. And I kind of looked a little bit deeper. So what he's doing is he actually has all the stuff canned, ready to go. But he just needs extra money to label the cans and get all the packaging ready to go so he can ship them out.
Oh, see, I saw the packaging and I thought that it was all ready to package. So that makes sense. It looks good.
Yeah. So he only needs $18,000. So I'm surprised he's only at $1 right now. Again, the momentum kind of thing.
Yes. Where is it? And he may have he's been up for 8 days.
Yeah. And it's a good idea too. And he mentions that he's actually already starting to work with, carpet manufacturers and people of the likes there to kind of get this working. It's a great idea. And he actually brought up a point. Some of these carpets, they have like a really rough back surface. And since I don't have any hardwood floor in my house, I've never thought about it, but some of those carpets can actually scratch your hardwood floor. Yeah. So this kind of does protectorant on top of it, and also with a Slipguard on top of it. On there.
Keeps it nice and clean. Protect your floors. Keep the carpets in place. So this for me is a back. I love the idea, and I will add my dollars to his $1, whatever is there. It's just I love it. I love the idea, and I think it would make sense. Especially, does he talk about how many carpets you can spray? Like how much is in one tan?
I think you can get one. What was it? I think you can get one large carpet from this can, or you can get a few
like a 4x6 or something.
Yeah, so 50 square feet, so about an 8x5 rug.
Oh yeah, so huge.
Small. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's surprising, but a lot of people don't realize those air compressor cans, they can hold a lot in there.
Right. So that's where I'm at. I'm a back on this one.
Yeah, it's a back for me too, because carpets on there. trying to keep these mats down is a pain, especially in Utah, because the reason why you probably have a mat is for the winter time when people are trudging in snow and mud and dirt.
Wet mud,
Yeah, it kind of helps keep everything clean, and I think it's a fair price for it. And the kit comes, he gives you everything you need. It gives you the masking tape so you don't overspray it. He also even gives you the plastic wrap so you don't have to go like cut a bag open or anything when you're applying it. So it's like
a full drop cloth and a full tape. Yeah,
you're ready to go from there. So it's a back from me.
Especially if you can do that much space. I think at that level, I think his perks level is like $50 to have that perk to actually get one, and that makes sense if you can do that much. I could do 3 or 4 of my rugs with that, and that's worth it.
Okay. So that's
awesome.
That is the Slipguard. Okay, so let's do something fun. I wanted to do something really, really fun.
Yes, let's.
Both of us seen the news industry and kind of the business side of a lot of things, and they love buzzwords, right?
Yes,
buzzwords.
They do.
So in the world of gaming, what do you think is the buzzword right now?
Would that buzzword be VR?
Yes. So virtual reality is big. Facebook just bought Oculus for a boatload of money on there. And we and at CES, both of us were there, and you started seeing a lot more head-mounted displays coming out.
Yeah.
And some of them, instead of just making you buy the entire head-mounted display, have you use your mobile phone on there. Because we're starting to get phones that are like 6 inches in size. And what people don't realize is when you put a phone that close to here, it can actually simulate a larger screen because you're just like right there and it's fully immersive. It looks a little stupid though when you're holding it up here, but hey, that's where we are. So our next project right here is actually called the Go Show, and it's actually trying to make the experience of wearing it. It's not going to make you look less goofy. I don't know anything that would make you look less goofy.
Yeah, no.
But it wants to give you even a more immersive experience by making you feel like you're in a theater or another area on there. So what it does is, if you can see on the screen, it actually simulates a virtual cinema and then puts whatever movie you're watching on the virtual screen per se on there. So you feel like you're actually just sitting in a seat in a movie theater. Or I love some of these things. They're like, so maybe you're watching Jurassic Park. How about we have a whole jungle around you so you feel like you're a little bit more immersed in the game? Or
maybe that's what's been missing for me, because I've tried a few of those, like, stick your phone right in front of your eyeballs.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool.
You just feel like a screen's in front of you, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
for,
So this is fun.
Yeah. For this one, like my favorite one is you can pretend you're in Tony Stark's Malibu penthouse while watching Iron Man. That's a cool one for me. So, and keep in mind, since you're doing this virtual reality stuff, you can turn your head and stuff, and you'll see more of the theater. So you can see an empty seat next to you. You can see like some of this, like you can see the ceiling and make it all feel like you're actually in that place. And that's what virtual reality is supposed to do, is kind of escape on there. And what's interesting about this project actually is that it's actually already out on the App Store. If you have Google Play or an Android device, you can actually go search for Go Show and you'll find version 1 in there. So what they're actually doing in this case is they're trying to raise money so they can support iOS, support more streaming formats. So they want to put YouTube, Vimeo, Metacafe, Hulu. Think about it, Drew. People could be watching the KickCast in VR.
Just laying back with their big old blocky things on front of their face. And
imagine what kind of like cinema we would have. Like if it was me, I'd design it so it's kind of like a warehouse all around us, and have past projects that we've covered kind of on a shelf, so you can like,
hanging around.
I think that'd be cool.
I like that. I think that's great.
They're trying, and the other things, they're trying to update movie controls. Get the movie player a little bit better, and they have this lens correction because some of these use different optic lenses that you can adjust. So you can get the right focal point. So to flatten that out, and pixel filtering. So if you have a phone that has a low resolution on it, it kind of makes everything smoother. And to design more theaters or areas that you can sit on.
Which is kind of cool. I think this is one I really want to maybe see what it looks like and try it. And so maybe I'll find some Android device in the next couple of days and try that first version, because I like the idea. I've never had much success with the big headset displays. You see these in like the Sky Mall magazine all the time, where it's like, yay. I've never had success with them. Like, I just feel like when I put them in front of my face, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm watching a 6-inch display 6 inches from my face. I never get this feeling of like, oh, it's relative to a 70-inch movie theater. I don't know. I've never seen it, so I guess I'd like to try their app and see if that helps to kind of center it.
And another thing I like is they're trying to, since this is a phone app, they're opening it up to not just one head-mounted display. So some of the two that they mentioned is the Dorvos Dive. I've actually tried this thing at CES, and
did you?
We can actually. I actually need to email the lady back and get a demo unit on it so we can actually try it on there. And I love that because there's actually optics that you can adjust on it, so you can get the right focal length on there. And then there's a VR Ace that just barely got funded on Kickstarter, and of course they're trying to get the Oculus, and they're trying to get that other HDM one on there. So they're trying to keep it open. I like how you can have any kind of head-mounted display. That being said, not everybody has a head-mounted display, and not everybody's going to be willing to.
Not for a long time. I don't think we're going to have them like prevalently. I really don't know that many people that have them now. So that was another question. It's like, great, I love that you're going, and maybe they're just skating where the puck is going, right? And they'll connect with that eventually.
Yeah. So for me, this is a track, just because it's not for everybody, but it's such a cool idea. And this is the promise of virtual reality that I've wanted for quite some time.
Yeah, and this for me as well, a track, and I think it's because it is that promise. It's like, okay, this is what we expect when we see ourselves doing virtual reality things, and we wear the headsets. We want to be able to at least enjoy a nice immersive movie. This may be a solution for making that happen with using the phone.
Yeah, this might eliminate my need to go outside ever again, which I appreciate because
you don't get outside at all anyway.
Yeah. And who didn't get burned over the weekend?
You didn't get burned.
Yeah.
I played in the pool and got burned. So what's the point of going outside? There's no.
It's just less pain-free.
Touche.
I could put the pool around me while I'm watching the movie. Yeah. What now? What now?
I don't have to go outside.
Yeah, I can just pretend to be outside.
That's awesome.
All right, Drew. That is actually our last project of the night. Where did the time go? Seriously. Like, I never know where the time goes because it just goes by so quickly on there. If you guys have any comments you want to let us know about these projects, please shoot us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net. We also take project suggestions. I love getting project suggestions. And if email's not the thing to do because somebody said email is dead, I don't believe it. Yeah. You can leave it on one of our social media sites. So on Facebook, facebook.com/KickCast, or on the Twitter @KickCast for the show, or you can just tweet it straight to Drew and I @Night20 for Drew with a K, or @KTData for me with a K. There. Or if you use the Google Plus. Google Plus is not a ghost town.
To remind me again.
Yeah, it's not a ghost town. It's not a ghost town. I know, because my stream is always getting new content on there. You can find that at plus.kickcast.net, or you can watch in the live. Live is always good.
I love the live.
Winston was talking. He agreed with us saying that the price is a big turnoff for the Footblast.
Footblast, yeah.
On there. But, we love chatting with people. I mean, before this, I was streaming Watch Dogs, and you could have seen how horrible I am at driving. I promise I'm not that bad of a driver in real life. Just the game controls are a little wonky on there. Our next live show is going to be June 9th, 2014, and you can find that at live.kickcast.net. Drew, you're like over a year now as a host.
I know, this is amazing.
It's crazy.
I can't believe I made it this far.
Yeah. I'm waiting for so Drew's actually... Are you almost at 50 episodes of podcasting's goodness?
Yeah, if you add everything.
Yeah,
because it's 42, and I just did number 13 on my other ones, so I'm there.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go check out
veteran.
Check out Drew on his podcast, because nobody wants to hear what I say. Everybody's here for Drew.
right.
We all know the truth on here.
No. So for the gaming, if you love to play games, you love PlayStation. We do all things Sony, and it is we do that every week. So you could have an hour of me every week along with Rachel and Jeff, and it's a blast. We do some good stuff.
Yeah. If you ever wonder where I get these ideas for these intros, it's usually from there.
Right. He watches the show, comes up with this crazy, ridiculous stories that I've told. Yeah. So you could get them firsthand. Good call.
Yeah, and you can understand them. So other than that, guys, make sure you check out ktdata.net. I got tons of content coming out. One is actually doing a KickCast rewind of this thing right here, our Phone Joy. That will be actually out the day after this episode gets published. So make sure you go check it out and see what I thought about it.
Yes. Oh, yes. And then I have one that I ought to get out for maybe even for next week. I've got one that I reviewed, the keys. Ooh. It's a new keychain. I'll share that one soon. Yeah.
All right, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Night.
Bye.